Always wanted to do that at the beginning. Always miss it.
We need to get one of those cheesy laugh tracks like they have on like sitcoms and stuff like that.
That's true.
You ever notice like on sitcoms it's always the same exact laugh like every time? If you pay attention to it, if you get really like OCD about it, it makes you angry.
You know, I actually read a fact about that a while ago where somebody said that it's scary when you think that they've been using these same tracks for years, so everybody that you hear laughing is now dead.
That's really great. Positive way to start off with it.
All right. On that note, welcome to the Viking the Lumberjack.
All right. So, if you're following along, if you're one of our viewers who is currently on right now, you can use the hashtag VL Show on the Twitters to talk to us. And, you know, if not, then that's fine too.
Yeah, that's cool because we generally are pretty lousy at checking. But, you know, on the off chance we actually think to refresh our Twitter feeds, and then there we go. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today, Carl.
Yes, we do.
It's been what, like
loaded the news section, so it's not like it's like more like the evening news than just regular old news.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, like, we haven't really seen each other or talked much since CSUN. It's been pretty busy, right? Like,
yeah, we haven't done any other VNL stuff. Usually, you know, the earliest parts of us doing this hangout, you know, we also had like in progress episodes that you were working on behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, and haven't really shot anything. We got some stuff coming up. Maybe we'll sneak in a taping or two.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. Well, I hate to disappoint our dozens of viewers, but you know,
it went up and then it just went down. So, or whatever that means, I guess we went back up.
Hey, speaking of going down,
yes,
let's talk about lousy segues. The Slack job posting has been taken down. Did you notice that, Carl?
Yeah, because I was looking for it. You know, because I was actually hoping that we could, I don't know, hassle them a little bit about it.
Yeah, I actually had a couple of ideas with that too. I thought it'd be really fun to get the dude. Well, you suggested we get the dude from Slack on.
Yeah, Stuart.
And I thought it'd be fun if we did like a dating game type thing where we set up 3 masked sort of applicants for the job, and you can do applicant number 1. How would you best describe your? And we could have done a total. We could have had that role filled on our show.
That'd be cool.
It would be cool, but unfortunately they took the job down. So that either means they've hired somebody, or they've stopped pretending that they're going to hire somebody.
Get it? We're not doing this. Yeah, that's a good question. Because you know, we talked about it in the actual Slack, the accessibility Slack, only a couple days ago, and the job was up there. So here's to hoping that that they did fill the job, and that they decided that they are going to move forward with it.
Yeah, because I do know a lot of qualified people were after that job, or at least interested in it. So yeah, here's hoping that one of them got it, because there are a lot of decent accessibility folks that are probably chomping at the bit to jump into a company like that.
Yeah, well, you know, Slack is interesting because they're what they call in the startup world a unicorn, and you know they just recently got a valuation of $2.3 billion. Now that doesn't mean that they have that much cash on hand, but it does mean that they have access to that. As valuation goes, you can also use you can use that to derive credit or whatever. Suffice it to say, they have millions and millions and millions of dollars of cash available to them to really accessibility seriously.
And the product is awesome. I mean, I just wish more people could use it. I mean, we use it. You and I use it. A11YTO use it as sort of a back channel. I'm a part of a couple of other Slack groups as well. And I mean, it's a really handy tool. I just wish more people could, or were able to use it.
Yeah, because as it stands now, I believe it's still the case that you have to like sort of pipe in from IRC or something like that if you plan on using a screen reader with it, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, something else that kind of sucks, and this isn't even news anymore. Our friend Sam in DC, Eric Wright, our man on the tweet, tweeted this earlier this week or last week. Once again, Uber has denied a passenger who had a guide dog.
Nice.
I mean, I don't even want to talk about this very much, Carl, because it's not even news anymore at this point. They're just
Right.
Get your crap together, Uber. Come on, these are
Yeah.
people that need to get places to live their lives, and either get them where they're supposed to go using the product that you advertised, or just stop pretending.
Right.
Don't even stop pretending. No, get your crap together and start treating people like people.
Well, aren't they piloting like a special service for people with disabilities in like the San Francisco area? Aren't they?
There's something in Toronto too. I can't remember what it's called, Uber or something here. I can pull it up on my phone. But regardless, why do we have to have a special project? I mean, I understand that it's not every car can fit a wheelchair, but every car can certainly hold a dude and his dog.
Right. Yeah. But the other thing, the one in San Francisco, somebody tweeted that they actually looked for one, like looked for a vehicle for a pickup for on that special service, and they didn't even get one. So
Yeah, I could see
come on.
that. I can't even find. Shows you how much I use Uber. I can't even find it on my phone. There we are. It's loading up. I can't remember. I think it's Uber Wave, maybe. Is that the one that I think is for Toronto?
Uber wave as they leave you with your guide dog on the corner.
Uber with one finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a drag.
It is a drag. I like Sam too, so.
Yeah. Hey, CSUN. Speaking of which, we
We
a
went
little bit of the blog post, the long-awaited CSUN wrap-up from TBG was released today. You can find that on the Paciolo Group blog. Henny wrote it this year, so it should be riddled with spelling mistakes. Just kidding, it was Jack. But yeah, no. So it's actually a really great write-up. She did a great job. Lists all the talks. We've got links. I finally got around to sharing mine. Yours has been online because you're better at that than me for sharing your work. So yeah, it's a great article. Go to Paciolo. Is it blog.paciolo group or paciologroup.com and blog? I can't remember. I'm terrible. That's the one URL I didn't put in my list of URLs sitting in front of me.
Exactly. It's just paciologroup.com/blog.
There we go. And so that's a great read. If you missed that, the other great write-up was the one that Job did. The sort of informal bullet notes. I think it was tweeted around a lot last year or last month rather. That was a lot of fun. Hey, we had a small win come out of CSUN, Carl.
Did we? I have a surprise for you, but go ahead.
Oh, what's the surprise? Tell me.
No, you're giving me the segue to.
So now I'm worried that you're going to just stop at my point.
I am.
Oh, great. Well, then I don't want to tell anybody anymore.
Yeah,
so we had mentioned a couple of techniques in our why WCAG talk that had sort of gone through the voting process, and it was actually called out that these two techniques are actually similar and they should be merged, and it looked like they were being pushed through on their way to a successful either a merge or getting rid of one. But I have a feeling that by the look on your face, you're about to ruin this moment for me.
Looking through my email if I can find it. Yeah, so Eric Eggert promptly after our presentation at CSUN filed a bug in the W3C schools techniques repository or whatever, and said we should merge these. And then there was some discussion, and it was all like, yeah, this totally makes a lot of sense. We should merge these. And then the last time I saw, I'm trying to go through my emails, but I'm not seeing it. There was we're actually going to keep these techniques and just change the wording. So it's good. It's good because we can still get that presentation without.
Well, that's fine. I mean, if they think the two techniques are different, then fine. But yeah, I mean, you're right. At least we can keep this because it was a great slide. I mean,
yeah, I didn't want to lose that slide, so I want to thank them for not changing anything.
Yeah.
I was holding back on that one.
Yeah, and well, speaking of W3C.
Yeah, so this is really cool. I'm going to tweet this one out. Actually, let me share my screen. I don't even know if this is ready for prime time yet, but it doesn't matter because it's cool. So several years ago, I say several years ago, I don't know how long it was, maybe 2013. John Folio reached out to me and a couple other people to talk about, hey, we need to deal with this challenge, which is actually knowing what the deal is with support for specific techniques, right? So So there's all this discussion. We'll probably get into this later. All this discussion around tab panel and all that sort of thing, and what's the support like for that? And we actually started collecting samples, and we were going to do. John had this idea of doing a hackathon around it, and it was and I thought it was a great idea, and then it sort of died because people are busy and all this sort of stuff.
Yep.
So this is an effort that's being put together by Shoddy, Eric, Wilco, a couple other people who are working on this sort of thing, which is what's called an accessibility support database. So what you can do is you can actually browse these test cases and get some. It's still well, as it says here, unapproved prototype. Anyway, you can go through these and actually determine what the support level is, and you can actually submit results, and it's really cool. So kudos to them for that thing, and here's to hoping that this continues, this effort continues, because I'd like to see a large volume of data around this, and so I think it's a great effort, and kudos to them for that.
Now, do they have this set up so the second we file an issue here, it gets tweeted?
Exactly. It should work with the API, the Twitter API, to say this is broken.
That doesn't always work anymore. Because I mean, how else do we file bugs on Twitter if not on Twitter? Another sort of cool thing that came out today was Steve Faulkner shared this earlier, was the prototype for the new HTML5 accessibility page. Let me see if I can pull this up really quick. It's not quite released yet, but it's pretty cool. It's a really slick new design. Actually, I think Steve said a couple of folks from Microsoft are actually helping with this, which is great. So hopefully over the years or over the time, we'll see a few of these X's get sort of filled in underneath the Explorer and Edge browsers. Yeah, I just wanted to share that. Steve tweeted it earlier. I think it looks fantastic. I mean, it's always been a great resource. So it's this new redesign is just pretty darn snazzy.
And everybody should click that link that says NVDA donation support there at NVDA. That's really cool. It looks great. It really looks good because Steve's not really a designer, so
yeah.
David Story and with the girl's name, Melanie. What's her last name?
I don't know. Hold on, see if I can find this somewhere.
They've done a great job of.
They really have.
Testing too. Because
honestly, we've seen this sort of renewed sort of energy at Microsoft lately when it comes to accessibility. They're doing some really great stuff overall.
Yeah.
I've seen a few tweets from their Xbox team. They can't really share a lot of the stuff they're doing, but I've seen little snippets here and there. So I know they're doing awesome work on that front. They've just made a couple of new hires. I don't know that we can talk about that are also pretty strong in the field. So it's really nice to see this sort of new energy happening at Microsoft and this sort of renewed sort of interest. No, I shouldn't say interest, but this sort of renewed activity surrounding accessibility. So that's really good. Kudos to them. Hey, while we're talking about Twitter, you tweeted something the other day, Carl, that I thought was kind of funny. See if I can bring this up.
What was it?
Well, you were talking. It was actually yesterday. You were talking about money.
Uh-huh.
And the $20 bill and how you wanted to focus on if Google would allow me to share my screen. It's being a jerk.
Yeah.
So it's this one here. You said, hey, instead of all these people getting worked up over who's on the $20 bill, how about we talk about how inaccessible U.S. paper money is?
Yeah.
And that's, honestly, one of the first things I noticed. I mean, even as a Canadian who travels down there quite a bit, I mean, all of your money looks exactly the same. It's the same shape. It's the same shade. Like it's, with the exception of whatever dead guy and denomination is on there, there's no differentiating. And the other thing I hate about it, and this is just, again, as a Canadian, by the end of the week I end up with like 500 singles. I have my purse full of loonies, but that's just me. So I thought that was interesting because, I mean, in Canada, obviously we use color to separate our bills, as a lot of the euro is like that as well. But we also have Braille on our money. And we've had that for a while. Um,
Yeah, some of the people in the United States who who talk about that, they say, "Oh well, only a small portion of people who are visually impaired actually read Braille. So why would we do that?" And that's, I guess, is a valid argument. But like you said, all of our money is the same color, the same size. It's really ridiculous.
yeah, there's nothing helping it.
Yeah, there's literally, and so you have people who are visually impaired, like doing, like folding corners or folding. Okay, this is the one that's folded 3 ways, so this is a 20 or whatever. That's really silly. The ACB sued the Treasury Department like 10 years ago, and I don't really. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't really follow through with how that happened, but all I know is all my money is still exactly the same.
Yeah, clearly not much happened really.
So everybody's sitting there freaking out about, oh God, we can't replace the great and wonderful Andrew Jackson, who, by the way, was a proponent of slavery, with Harriet Tubman, because that's bad. And we got other things to worry about. Like, let's argue about why we're still discriminating against people in our country.
Absolutely. And hey, let's skip ahead a little bit here and jump right to Patrick. Patrick has renewed his war on internet font sizes.
Yes, he's now known affectionately within TPG as the sauerkraut.
Which is very funny. Kudos to Henny for coming up with that one. But Patrick tweeted out something today, a little shots fired. See if I'll bring that up, unless you got it handy.
I can bring that up.
I got it here.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah. So he said, shots fired. Can we finally use pixels instead of points in WCAG? And then he actually linked to a longer article. I don't know if I have that one up or not. But he linked to a larger article on GitHub, or a bug that he filed on GitHub, all about that. This is problematic. I mean, one, because if you read that like it's just a typo, and it's actually supposed to say pixels and points, you're wrong again.
Right.
There's no real
people don't, like, the layperson doesn't understand the difference. Patrick, being the pedant that he is, has actually done some work on measuring what those sizes are. But they're not the same. Like, pixels and points are not the same. And what's really funny to me is how much, like, Patrick. My first encounter with Patrick Lauta was like 2002, 2001 on Usenet, and he was bitching about points and pixels back then. So I always loved poking him about it, because you can get him really worked up into a lather about the pixels.
We were trolling him a little bit this morning, and let's be honest, and you could see the temperature, the black oil of it. For some reason, I guess his caps lock key got stuck for a minute there. Be a lot of capital letters floating around.
Now, you were going to say something, though, about the confusion that people can get into.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you read that like it's just a typo of, oh well, I guess WCAG put points, but they actually meant to say pixels. I mean, there's a big size difference between 18 pixels and 18 points, right? I mean, with 18 points, you're up into like 24 pixels. So if you're verifying like large type or something that might pass, then you're actually still 6 points shy or 6 pixels shy of where you're supposed to be for that, right? So, and I mean, God, I wonder if I made that mistake myself in the past just by rereading that, misreading that. So I think it's dangerous. I do think they need to correct that. There are, I mean, you and I said it in WCAG, we heavily credited Patrick for this. There are no points on screens.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about pixels all the time. So why are we referencing a print measurement in a digital document? Like, right. It makes no sense. So I mean, that's a huge bug. I'm surprised it even made it through into the first draft. I mean, like, did somebody not catch that?
Well, let's not do it.
I mean, if only Patrick had spoken up years ago.
We'll get in more trouble. So here's one I got from you, actually, which works for me as a dangerous sentence. I like this especially. Yeah, I sort of, when I read into that, I also see like ideas where we see stuff that somebody's a power user, or a person on a specific assistive technology, or a power user of that specific assistive technology, works for me is not the same as works for everybody else.
Yeah, and I mean, this is not by any means an original thought. I mean, we always talk about how the web is not, it's very one size fits one, right? I mean, and even that itself is not an original thought. But I think this stems from sort of all of the kerfuffle that was happening. Was it earlier this week or later last week around the tab panel argument, the great tab panel explosion of 2016? And it just, it was tough when there was a couple people saying, well, I read one comment from somebody saying that this was what was going to make them leave web dev and stuff. It's just like, look, man, like, we live in a constantly sort of evolving industry. I mean, you guys can learn a new friggin' library every 2 seconds, yet you still can't figure out, that we need to evolve our techniques as well. So, I mean, yeah, what worked and was recommended, 6 months or 2 years ago, it might not work. I mean, over time, something's going to break it, or it might just, we might find something better. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
And there's a couple people that were criticizing our community as us as consultants and as accessibility professionals, saying that we were useless because of this, and I don't think that's fair. We're trying just as hard every day to make the world work.
No, we're trying to make things difficult for everybody.
Yeah, well, that's my end game is job security, really.
Yeah. So we got to continue to move the goalposts, otherwise people are going to catch on to all this accessibility stuff and put us out of work.
Oh, yeah. It's like when I play board games with my daughter and there's new rules that I never heard of every 2 seconds for some reason. No. Hey, we're just under a month away from the Accessibility Super Bowl. For those, or I guess it would be more of a holiday for those who choose to celebrate it. Global Accessibility Awareness Day 2016 is fast approaching.
Yay!
There are, of course, events all over the place. The Global Accessibility Awareness Day, I think it's Global Accessibility Awareness Day.org has their events page. It's not quite up to date. I know there's a few of the camps and meetup groups that are still doing a few things. This one here in Chicago, I think, is the one that I think is really, really cool. I think Dennis has done kind of a neat job planning this one, because it sounds to me like they're going to do a little bit of sort of guerrilla accessibility work. They're basically going to find an organization and, as a group, audit their site and then present the findings to somebody.
That could go good or bad. Surprise!
I love it, though. I mean, I think it's fantastic. By all means, just go for it.
Yeah. No, I think it's cool, especially if if they sort of can present it in a way that it's like, here we're helping you, and this is how we're gonna.
For sure. Is that your screen that's being shared right now, Carl?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we both shared at the same time, so I was like, what's going on? Why is my computer working itself now? It's become But anyway, so I think that's really cool. If you're in the Chicago area, I highly recommend you check out that meetup. However, if you are not near Chicago, we have a little event at the Paciello group that we like to call Inclusive Design 24, or ID24 for short, and we are able to somewhat officially announce that we are going to be live again this year. Not you and I. We are not doing 24 hours live again. That was a terrible mistake.
That was the first time. So the first one that we did, we sort of switched hosts throughout the day, even though both Mike and I were there almost the entire time. But then last year, you and I had the brilliant idea of trying to do the whole day. Yeah. And it was like there was a point there where we were like, we should stay up, and then it was, I should take a nap just a little bit while this presentation is on. And getting up was the worst.
Oh yeah.
That was the worst mistake ever when I took that one nap.
I mean, that's probably like 4 in the morning or something, and it was tough. So anyways, we are not doing that this year, but however, we are returning as a group and as a collective, we will have 2-person hosting teams throughout the day. We'll announce all of that in the coming weeks. But right now, we can announce a few of the speakers that have confirmed for this year.
Okay. What do you got?
Well, what do you got, Carl? Let's see. We got Russ Weekly.
Yeah.
Is in there. Sarah Poulos. Our friend Makoto Yuiki is back again, speaking from Japan. He's a fantastic speaker, even better guy. Looking forward to him.
Just like because he's a wrestling fan.
Yeah, well, and that he's. I mean, hey, I found out he's a wrestling fan because he's a cool guy, and I was talking to him though, so that's fair.
And he gave us this cool presents.
He really did.
Did you eat any of those things?
I ate them all.
They were awesome. They were awesome.
I shared them all with Alita. She ate a lot of them.
We did that as soon as I got home from CSUN. I sort of ripped open the bag and everybody took a turn eating all the goodies. For those who don't know, Makoto during after the CSUN hangout gave us a goodie bag of little Japanese things, and some of them were things to eat, and it was like, what the hell is this? I don't know, because it's in Japanese. Let's try it.
It was good.
We got Shadi.
Shadi's gonna be there, yeah.
Or as you call him, Shady.
I've never called him that.
I'm just trying to make us more friends at W3 schools. No, Shadi's going to be there, which is great because I think he's going to talk about some of the stuff that we just mentioned. Marco Zihi, John Gibbons, who knows way more about mobile accessibility than I ever will.
Oh God, if I could just retain like 1% of what he knows about mobile accessibility, that would be amazing.
Yeah. We got Ian Hamilton.
Yeah. I assume talking about gaming, probably, maybe.
I think so. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm assuming.
It's a safe guess.
Amelia Bellamy-Royds. I saw her submission. It looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, she's like all about SPG, right? I mean, yeah, so that's rad. Cal Smith, dear friend of both of ours, even smarter dude. He's awesome.
We have Mark Cajolet. Now, Mark Cajolet works with a TPG client. These guys have been really cool because we've done lots of UX and development training and all that sort of stuff. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and Lainey Feingold is going to be on this year. That is awesome. We've been trying to get her. I think. Did we get her the first year? Did we have her the first year? No, I don't think so. I can't remember. They're all bleeding together. But anyways, we're excited she's back this year. We have TPG, soon to be newcomer. I think he let the cat out of the bag, didn't he? So
yeah.
John Metz is going to be talking. John Metz is on. Yeah. Another TPG newcomer, Mitch Bile. You out there? Yeah. I'm waiting for my Skype to light up with McKeel yelling at me. But McKeel's going to be doing a talk this year. We don't know what he's speaking on yet.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
We do know that my favorite CSUN talk from 2016 is part of the lineup this year. Ashley Bischoff is going to be doing her plain language talk.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for those of you who are lucky enough to show up on time for that talk, it was those of you who showed up late, you made that talk even better for some of us.
I agree. Ashley did a great job of owning people who were late.
Oh,
come on in.
I mean, I loved Ashley before that talk, but that just elevated her to like superstar status in my mind. But yeah, it's just she was. I mean, the kidding around and her, busting people's chops aside, the talk itself was amazing, and I actually retained probably more like practical sort of day one stuff that I could start applying right away. I learned more in that talk than I did at any other talk at CSUN.
Yeah,
it was just fantastic. And then. The big one for us, for ID24, we're really, really, really excited to announce Molly.
Yep.
Molly's back, and she's speaking at ID24 this year, Molly Holschlag.
Her talk submission is really cool. I don't know if we're allowed to say what the submissions are yet until the site's updated, but I think I like the angle she's coming at on it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. I like the fact that you and I can withhold some of this information, so we feel more powerful for the 10 or 15 people that are watching this right now, and for the dozens.
We lost two because they wanted to hear what it was, and then they didn't. They got pissed off.
Well, tough. Hey, coming up just ahead of ID24, though, we have Access U.
Access you. Austin, Texas.
Yeah. So that'll be pretty cool. May 9th to 11th. Viking the Lumberjack will be there. We're hosting a half-day bring your own accessibility issue workshop. So we're just going to basically let people show up with their problems, and we're going to fix them for them on the spot.
Well, we're not fixing them, but
we're gonna teach them how to. We're going to teach a man to fish.
Yep. We don't give.
Henny Swan is also going to be there. Henny is doing a talk as well as a full day UX accessible user experience design workshop, which will be very cool. I'm going to help her with that one. So I get to hopefully redeem myself, because years ago, my first Access U, I lent Henny my presenter because she forgot hers, and it was an all-day presentation, and I didn't change the batteries, and it died on her halfway through. So
you let her.
If nothing else, I have to show up and just change Henny's slides for her as sort of a payback for leaving her hanging. So that's cool.
We got to talk, though. We got to talk about our friends at Nobility and the fact that they didn't give us a keynote. We really think we should have a keynote there, because we could do why WCAG, or why accessibility, or why ARIA.
Why anything? I mean, really.
We could just do why the Viking Lumberjack.
A11Y.
Yeah, exactly.
So much we could do. And then we also have the Penn State with the Elements Conference coming up in June. You and I are both going to be there again too, so that's going to be fun. You're on your way to Illinois, though. Is it next month or
next week?
Next week. Oh wow.
Next week there's a Illinois Web Conference. Actually, let's see the official title. 17th annual University of Illinois WebCon, April 27 and 28. So I'm going to be there doing JavaScript accessibility.
Good stuff. All right, and then the week after that, May 5th and 6th, is ExplodeConf in London, Ontario. I'm going to be there doing a new talk I'm kind of excited about. It's called it's called Becoming the Villain from A11Y to Enemy, and it's sort of about basically the whole talk is a challenge. I'm throwing down the gauntlet, and I'm going to challenge these people to retain as much information within the 45 minutes as they can, so they can put me out of work.
Okay.
So that's the challenge.
I'll go for that to put you out of work too, because
yeah. Well, who knows? I might have just done that. Every time you and I go live on the air, Carl, we run that.
Every time we sit there and poke at W3 schools, it's one step closer to us being out of the job.
All right. But hey, people probably didn't come here to listen to us ramble. We have a very, very patient and cool guest who's been waiting in the wings since we went on air a little while ago. Mr. Hayden Pickering is going to join us today to talk all things music and accessibility related. So, welcome, Hayden. Unmute yourself.
You gotta unmute yourself.
He's still talking. I just forgot that.
We went over this like 10 minutes ago.
There we go.
All you could hear was the dead people.
When we put you on screen, you gotta unmute yourself.
Usually the dead people.
Yeah.
I don't have time for me.
The dead clap for Hayden.
But they was good. If I was being chased by zombies, but they were clapping, I'd be relatively happy.
That's how they trick you. So you stop and take a bow, and then they eat you.
Can I comment on the news stuff? Because I've been sitting here listening to you talking about the news, and I'm going, oh yeah, well I've got something to say about that, and obviously I'm a gobshite, so I want to answer. So the Uber thing to start with, I've never used Uber, but they strike me as being just generally awful, and I would call them Unter in the Nietzschean sense. So he had the Uber mensch and the Unter mensch, didn't he? So maybe Unter would be, or Hunter, like fascist Hunter, would be maybe a better description. So yeah, not a big Uber fan, just from what I've heard about the way that they treat people with disabilities, obviously. Then what did you move on to after that? The ID24 thing was amazing. I remember that. I couldn't present last year, although I really wanted to, and then you very kindly read a message from me. But I just remember you doing the whole 24 hours thing, and like you're saying, probably looking back, it wasn't such a good idea. And I admired you guys for that, because if I get anything less than about 8 hours sleep, all of my arms and legs fall off, and I basically just stop functioning altogether. I go into a deep malaise and can't move. I just go in the fetal position, and that's it with on like 7.5 hours sleep. So
Right.
I was super impressed by that. Yeah.
Carl and I weren't far off of that, though. I mean, honestly, if you've been in that hotel room and saw the state of decay that was set in, probably about.
I remember the picture of you laying in bed next to each other. I thought that was nice. Yeah.
Well, that was a different event altogether. But.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I've got confused two events, one of which was shared with me privately. But yeah, that was amazing.
So you released a compilation not too long ago.
Yeah. So a long time ago now, probably more than a year ago, I started thinking about the relationship between accessibility, web accessibility, I suppose more specifically, but accessibility and music. And I did this gig, and it was the weirdest gig I've ever done, because it just wasn't that expected. But my friend did work with adults with learning disabilities, and they loved that job, and it's a really noble job. It's a great job that they were doing, but they decided they were bored of office life and they wanted to leave. So they went off to Africa for 6 months, but their leaving they wanted to have like a big bash, and they all used to congregate as part of the sort of usual running of her job in this community center, and they thought, well, we'll get some people in to do some music, and she asked me and my friend Ben to play music for what was largely parents of adults with learning disabilities. So that was sort of the congregation, the audience. And the band that I was in at the time, called Wetface, was me and my friend Ben, and we played really nasty sort of punk rock music. And I'll give you a sort of a taste of what that kind of thing sounds like. So we did a cover of some new kind of Kick by the Cramps, but it was sort of a doom metal version, so you get this sort of that kind of thing. So you can imagine that, but played to people who've never heard music like that, really. But we were the support act. That's the thing. We were the support act. The main act was a lady called Janet Brandish, and she arrived with a CD player, which she had on her lap in her electric wheelchair, and she had that plugged in, and I helped her sort that out, because she just had it like a stack of CDs. So we were on before that, and I didn't even have a microphone stand. All I had was, you know, those little side tables that you get, which you pull out when you're in a hospital bed. It's like a thing. It's like a U shape or whatever. That was all I had, so I had to lean right over as well. And the first thing that I said when I started playing was, "We're Wetface, and I've got a plinth." And it was just stunned silence. No one, everyone was just looking at us like, why are they here? What is wrong with them? And I was afraid that they'd be a bit scared, that this would be a bit unusual. But my friend who'd organised it said, "No, don't worry. Seriously, it's going to go down fine." And we did about 4 or 5 songs, because that's about as many songs as I managed to write anyway, so it was a good set for us. And at the end, there was loads of interest to actually get involved and have a go on the instruments and actually be hands-on. So I had a guy came up to us called Graham, and he had Down syndrome, and he was non-verbal. He didn't like talking at all. But he came straight up to us, and he just pointed at the drum kit. He just went, "I want a piece of that," sort of thing. And we were like, cool, and we gave him the drumsticks, and we got him to sit down. And we expected him to sort of fumble around, but he did this whole, like, Phil Collins thing, where he just raised the sticks up in the air like that, and then just all of that. you know, the sort of the 8 business that you got in the, what was it, the Cadbury's advert? Other chocolates are available. But anyway, he really got into it, and then we just had loads of folks queuing up to just have a go on the instruments and the detuned guitar, and it turned into that kind of evening. And then it just got me thinking about music and accessibility. And then a little while afterwards, I was at Responsive Day Out, organised by Jeremy Keith, who's a musician himself. And afterwards, I was a bit hungover because we had quite a full-on after party. And it's just struck me that there's so many people I know in accessibility who are into their music or write music. I mean, you mentioned, I know Ms. J on Twitter, John Gibbons, yeah, and just loads of people who have come from that world, or they do that as a thing on the side. And I thought it would be a cool idea to put all of that together and make a compilation album. Didn't have to be new tracks about accessibility, although a couple of people did try to write brand new tracks about accessibility, which was very admirable, but I think ultimately they wrote stuff that they weren't especially happy with. And yeah, put together this record, Ali Rocks, with the ones as like devil horns, and try and make a bit of money. I have a Parkinson's in my family, so my grandfather had Parkinson's disease, and we have a friend from sort of the in-laws side who has Parkinson's. So it's 50% towards them, and then 50% towards NVDA, because it's a good screen reader and needs to be supported, and it's free. And that's what we came up with. And then I made a little website, and I'll try and share that now.
I just put it up there while you were speaking.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, I took it down.
Oh,
I'm gonna tweet it out.
Okay, no, hang on. So
Close the porn.
So yeah, so that's what the hand. It's very difficult to describe the hand thing. So I designed this hand. You can get them as stickers now. So if either of you guys want to write an article for Smashing Magazine about accessibility, now apparently this was Michelle's idea, was to get paid in $50 worth of stickers. They're expensive stickers, so that's only about 15 stickers, but still. So it doesn't have the rocks on it, the sticker. It's just the alley part. But so a track. Who have we got on there? Can you see this now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the Terrell Thompson's one, the first one, I love because it's like it's actually a screen reader reading a PDF, which is inaccessible. But he makes that work. He actually makes that not, sound like your head's caving in and you want to leave the room, which is pretty amazing. And I think he's playing guitar on it too, but there's like programmed drum beats and stuff. Gorka Malero is a really cool graphic designer, and that's just a really good track. I think a lot of people were worried. They thought, oh, this is kind of a good idea, but actually I'm not sure I'm going to buy it because it's bound to not have a lot of good stuff on it. And I was worried about people sending in stuff which was really bad, and I'd have to say no, sorry, I don't think it's good enough. But actually, everyone who submitted something interesting and different. So we've got Jeffrey Zelman there with a track that he did way back when, like before he even got into web design, so like the mid-90s, I guess. Bruce Lawson, of course. That's a really catchy track. Actually, it's like properly viral. No, not viral. Viral. Well, Bruce would like me to call him viral. Virulent. That's the word. Yeah. That really badly gets stuck in my head. That's my track, which is a Fu Manchu cover. You know Fu Manchu, right?
Oh yeah,
Of course.
Yeah, because that's all related to the Caius and Queens of the Stone Age related stuff, isn't it?
Fu Manchu has this song called Weird Beard. And
Yeah.
and it's got literally like one of the most awesome stoner rock like guitar riffs. And
Yeah,
then
I used to be able to play that. How does it go?
but then they interrupt the song and he goes, weird.
Yeah. That was my favorite track on that album, yeah.
It's got a great riff. The guitar riff is great.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I can play it, but I'm not going to plug my guitar back in now because the neighbours are going to get annoyed. But yeah, so that's a track by me, and it's John Gibbons there. That's like a classical guitar thing. David McDonald, and he's got this amazing music video for this, and it's on YouTube. He's like walking down the street playing the guitar, singing about WCAG, which I still can't get over that. I've played it to people outside of the world of accessibility, just to say, look at this guy doing this mad song, and yeah, there's a lot of effort in that, and that's a really great track. He's got a good singing voice as well. Axe Monkey is Clive Murray. He's done The Reaper's Image. Is just an instrumental track. I say just an instrumental track. It's an instrumental track, so no vocals on that about accessibility or otherwise. But it is a really good instrumental rock track. I was speaking to him about it, and I've listened to a lot of Carcass, who are a British grindcore band, and the lead parts on that are like Carcass, but kind of better. They're like more accomplished. So that's pretty amazing. Carefree Weekend is really cool. It's like it sort of works as the 11th track on the record because it's like an interlude, sort of chilled out kind of thing. And then Brother Cake, James Edwards, he's done a track which is like a long sort of drum and bass track, but all of the the melodic parts are R2-D2 noises. So hence tour de force. It's like as in the Force from Star Wars, and that's kind of good at that point in the album because it's like the late night thing where you just sort of at that stage are high and are getting down to some dance music. And then Heidi's done this cool, I don't know what you call it really. It's sort of a no-wave electronica type thing, and that's really nice as a sort of a coda at the end of it. So I've sort of tried to give it a bit of a narrative. It goes through the sort of rock stuff more towards the beginning, and then it gets a bit more versatile and stuff towards the end. But honestly, it's actually a really good album. And if you go here, haydenworks.com/alley with the ones _rocks, that's where it is to have a little. You can have I put together a little track, which I kind of clumsily put bits of each song together, so that folks could have a sort of a preview. But that's pretty much it really, and I'm trying to make as much money on it as possible before I actually write a check to the two organisations. Otherwise, if I leave it much longer, they're gonna start wondering where the money is, having informed them that it was forthcoming. So yeah, that's it.
Everybody should buy it.
Everybody should buy it. Yeah, it's not just a good accessibility record; it's a good record. There you go.
And also the stickers themselves are a huge hit. I've got that up now on mine. I've got them up too. Okay, so that is fantastic because I to be honest, I ordered them. I think the 13th of April, and they were here like 6 days later. So the shipping was super quick. Yeah, and the shipping was super quick, and the quality is amazing. Like, and to be honest, everyone I've showed them to has been pretty jealous too. So highly recommend.
Yeah, it is a good sticker. I have. I'm an idiot. I was leaning my laptop over to look at the sticker because I have it on my laptop. Look at the table.
What do I have?
I ran out, so I don't have them on my laptop.
Got this little guy right here.
There you go.
But yeah, they're really great. They work well.
They're made of vinyl, apparently, which is probably why they're so expensive. But
almost indestructible, which is cool.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's what you want on your laptop. You don't get sort of bashed around and put in bags and rubbed up against things and what have you, isn't it? So
I try not to rub my laptop. I don't know what you're doing with your laptop, but yeah. Speaking of music, I had an unfortunate occurrence yesterday. I was doing a webinar for a client, and I was switching back and forth between windows, and there was this brief period where sort of like I had multiple Chrome windows open, and I was trying to switch between them, and all of a sudden, all of a sudden iTunes pops up, and wait a minute, so all of a sudden iTunes pops up, and that's showing. And it's it's just the band name, and but it's not the kind of band name that you want to. Yeah, because
that's a good record too.
It is. It's a good record. And you know what though? They're even better live. I saw them with who did I see them with? With Zeke and Speed
Really?
Deal. Yeah, it was awesome.
Zeke is one of those bands I keep missing. I always find out about them well, they haven't toured in a while up here, but I always missed them by like a few days. And I was like, oh, we were at this show. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
One band that I've never actually been able to see.
Yeah, so you have the trifecta here of things you don't want like a client to see while you're doing, the band name, the album name, and the album cover all in one. And I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, and several song titles, too.
Exactly.
Go motherfucker go, yeah. Fucked up.
Yeah. So
it's an album more than anything. I don't know whether they would have had time to decipher what they were seeing there, but
yeah, I hope not, but I scrambled really fast to get them off there.
I'd like to say this is the first time that Carl's iTunes library hasn't has popped up on screen, but I mean I can count at least 2 or 3 trainings.
It's a bad habit, yeah. iTunes just has a mind of its own. It's like rock and roll time. Yeah. So, all right. Well, what else, Billy? We got some. I guess we can wrap this up now and
we gotta
do some cool shit.
We might have to save those for next time, Carl, because we're coming up to the top of the hour, so we should probably save those, and then we'll wrap it up for this month. We want to thank obviously Hayden for joining today.
Thank you guys. It is an honor.
Again, go out, buy the stickers, buy the album. It's not much at all. There's some great stuff on there too. The next Hangout Carl and I will be doing will be on Global Accessibility Awareness Day as part of ID24. The time will not be at noon this time. We're going to probably do it later in the afternoon. Let somebody else take the noon slot because it's a good slot and we don't want to waste it on these two jokers. Our guest, though, for that episode will be the man himself, Mr. Mike Paciello. So we'll see how much we can get away with on that episode. And we do have one other special guest that we put the invite out to that we are not allowed to talk about yet. But if we get that guest, it would be pretty cool. So hopefully they will respond soon and we can confirm that.
Who is it?
I can't tell you. Until then.
We'll have a long segment from Patrick on Points versus Pixels.
Oh, shouldn't it be M's though? That's what I was going to say. Have you said to Patrick it should say M's?
Did that worked up too?
I noticed.
That's good. So the mic segment. What are we going to do with the mic segment? I think we should ask Mike what his dirtiest joke is.
No.
Yeah.
Why don't we put this out to the folks at home? Tweet us your suggestions. What do you want us? What fun should we have with Mike?
Yeah. Yep.
Then we'll go from there.
We should both dress up in suits. We have to figure this out. This is going to be good.
Yeah, I don't own a suit.
You don't? You could get one of those stupid T-shirts with the tux design on them. Alrighty.
Tuxedo, but that's about it.
Oh, okay, then. That is it for us. I'm Carl Groves,
I'm Billy Gregory.
and we're the Viking and the Lumberjack.